crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here with a coffee-inspired card for the Coffee Lovers blog hop. The blog hop is ending today on Friday, November 13th, 2020 when I am posting this, but I still wanted to share because I thought that some of you might like to see the no-line coloring that I'm doing in the video, and also I will link you to the blog hop because you may have a couple hours to participate, but also if you don't, participating in the future ones is great because there's so many amazing sponsors for these blog hops if you're not already aware of the Coffee Lovers Hop. There are 72 super sponsors. I'm going to actually feature a few in this video. Kind of accidentally, I wasn't really thinking about it. And when I was making the card, I just got this new set from Reverse Confetti called Seasonal Says It All. And I featured a very similar, more like generic version of this set recently, and I really liked it and wanted to get the seasonal version because I knew that it would help me to create a lot of different kinds of cards. I just really like the way that, and I talked about this the first time through too, you can use these sentiments to create design elements on a card, and they have this block lettering that you can color in, so it allows you to really customize things. I'm going to do sort of a no-line coloring thing with the sentiments and with the critter today, which will actually be from Hello Bluebird. So I'm going to kind of mix up a few different companies for this card. Once I have decided how I want to place my sentiments, I'm going to stamp them in red ink because I'm going to be Copic coloring them with a red ombre for a sort of no-line look, because if I'm using red markers and then the red ink, that's what will make it look like the lines aren't so prominent there. I also thought about how I wanted to place my fox holding a cocoa cup from Hello Bluebird before I stamped all of this down. I'm going to actually use both of my MISTIs today, and that's just because I thought I was wanting to stamp multiple of these, and I actually did, but now that I did all the coloring, it took a while, and so I'm not sure if these will be created, if I will, stamp the rest of them for a little bit. I chose to kind of create like a bit of a graduated look with my sentiments. So in the last video, I chose sentiments that were more the same width, so they would look like a block element on the card. And this time I chose them so that it would look like the fox was sort of standing on a sentiment and kind of interacting with them a bit more. And that way you would see the entire sentiment, which is a little bit different than last time. Memento ink is great for Copics. I use the black with my Copics for many, many years, but they have a lot of colors, and in my experience, they all work with Copics. So when I was going to create this card and I knew I wanted to do the Copic coloring, I stamped everything with different shades of Memento ink. I believe it was Rhubarb Stalk for the red, and Desert Sand, I think it's called, for this light brown color here. Angel Pink also works pretty well if you're looking to create a sort of no-line look like I am going to do today. However, because of the colors that I thought I would choose for the fox, I thought the brown would be better and the pink would actually stand out more. I am taking R39, 37, and 35 to color in the words. The word coloring is super, super simple. I will take the R39, put a tiny bit at the bottom, put a tiny bit of the R37, finish it off with the R35. You don't really need much in terms of blending with it because it's such a small space, you don't need to work the markers too much to make it blend. The ink will spread, and I do suggest coloring just a few letters at a time because if things dry in between, they blend less on their own. You have to work a little bit more at it, so it actually saves you time and creates a easier blend if you work more quickly by using less letters. My fox here is going to be a little untraditional. Usually foxes are orange, but I'm not a big fan of orange foxes with red. Like, I don't like the two colors together. So my idea here was kind of like an Arctic fox. Arctic foxes actually change their coats, and they're white when it's the winter and snowy, and they actually darken up to a sort of brownish color. And I don't know if they go all the way to orange, but they do darken up. in the summer months. So yeah, this is going to be kind of weird because like, it's winter because it's Christmas, so he should be white, but I'm going to color him in his summer coat. But you could also think of it as like the way the light is hitting him, and also he's a fox in a sweater with a coffee cup, so he's clearly imaginary, and it's fine to color him with some made up of sorts colors. I'm using E43424140. I don't normally choose 4 colors for a blend, but in this case, I felt like it was pretty necessary because I wanted to sort of match up with the darker lines of the stamping, and that's what the E43 is doing. It's pretty similar to that color, and actually all I'm doing with the E43 is tracing the lines. I'm not really adding a bunch of shadow with it. I chose to trace at the very top and the sides of the fox, and with the E43, and then I'm doing most of my traditional coloring and blending with the other colors. I find that when I'm trying to do no line coloring, what the look that I like, I don't think there's any one way to do it or a right way to do it, is to take my shadow color and only really use it for the outline to kind of cover up the stamp lines, and that leaves me plenty of room for my highlight color. I took a W00 for the white parts of the fox, namely his face, mouth, chin area. I don't know if there's a specific word for that. I guess not quite snout, because that would include the top too. And then the tip of his tail, which is white. I'm going to go back to the R that I used for the sentiments and use that for his sweater. So you can see there, I took the R39 and really all I did with it was trace some of the stamping lines. That's in part because also these are really small areas, and so if you add too much of your shadow color, you're not going to leave any room for your highlight at all. And I took the R37 and just traced over my R39 lines, and then I left most of the area actually the R35. Red can be tricky with Copics. It bleeds really easily, and it's a really strong color, so you can't move it around very much if it bleeds into an area you don't want. With that in mind, maybe I should have colored that last because it can be a little finicky, and if I accidentally touch it with another color, it might bleed into that area. And so if you're a little bit less sure of yourself in coloring Copics, and I'm not saying that I'm super confident myself, but I definitely want to warn you that the reds, and you probably know if you've had any experience with the reds, that they are super, super finicky. And traditionally, I recommend coloring them as the sort of last color so that you don't accidentally spread things. But I think sometimes when I'm coloring on camera, I maybe don't always make the right or smartest decisions because I'm just trying to think of like, okay, what do I want to add next? I had already picked out the red colors, so I colored them first and then picked out the green, so I colored them next. I'm doing really simple Copic coloring with the green areas, and I'm just using 2 colors on most of it, but I had a third color. I did the YGs. I really like the YG 9s for Christmas. And I just had the last one just so I could create 2 different colors on the bottom of his sweater there. I'm using the Wonky Wavy stitched dies from Cat Scrappiness to cut out my central image here. Cat Scrappiness is another sponsor of the blog hop. And I'm going to take this Paper Source gold paper. I got this many, many years ago, and it's one of those things where like I didn't use it enough because it felt so precious. I only had a little pack of it, but I'm trying to, if I ever think, oh, I want to use it on a card, just go for it, because I don't even know if I could find it again or link it. And there's so many other pretty, glitter shimmer papers out there. So I can get more if I need it, even if I can't get it from Paper Source. I am going to add some sequins from the Cat Scrappiness Golden Anniversary, and I'm going to use my Barely Arts glue to glue them down. I used my Twiddler's Nook tray, which Twiddler's Nook is also a sponsor of the blog hop, and I poured my sequins into it so I could pick out just the gold ones that I really liked. then I could pour them back in really easily. And I'm just going to show you that here because I got frustrated in the past with Sequin, so I like having that little tray. It's been quite a nice addition. So that's it for my card today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in more crafting tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I will leave you links to the blog hop and to the products used in the video description. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Have an awesome day. Bye.